Hello and welcome to my presentation on human papillomavirus, commonly known as HPV. Here's some information about the classifications of the virus, what realm, kingdom, phylum, class, order, and family it belongs to. Human papillomavirus is a DNA virus from the Papillomaviridae family. Papillomaviridae family is a family of non-enveloped DNA viruses whose member known as papillomaviruses. Few hundred species of papillomaviruses have been identified infecting all mammals and also other vertebrates such as bears, snakes, turtles, and fish. Papillomavirus was first identified in the early 20th century when it was shown that skin warts could be transmitted between individuals as by a filterable infectious agent. In 1935, a scientist named Francis Peyton Rouse presented that the papillomaviruses could cause skin cancers in rabbits. This was the first time in the history that someone showed that a virus could cause cancer in mammals. Human papillomavirus infects human epithelial cells. HPV virulence factors are proteins E6 and E7. What they do is that they inactivate tumor suppressor proteins, which leads to uncontrolled cell division and cell growth, which leads to development of cancer. HPV infection is the sole cause of cervical cancers. HPV types are subdivided into two categories, low risk versus high risk. Low risk are associated with genital warts, and high risk are associated with low and high grade cervical intraepithelial lesions and lower genital tract cancers. Although cervical cancer is no longer common in the US because of the widespread cancer screening, it remains as the third most common cancer in women worldwide after breast and lung cancer. HPV is the most common sexually transmitted infections in all genders. According to CDC, currently are about 79 million Americans that are currently infected with HPV, and incidence rate is known as 14 million new cases of HPV infections getting diagnosed each year in the United States. HPV is transmitted through contact with an infected genital skin or mucosa. Genital warts are very infectious, and up to 65% of sexual contacts develop an infection. HPV could be latent, subclinical, or clinical. Diseases may manifest as genital warts or low or high grade intraepithelial lesions. The good news is about 90% of people infected with high or low risk HPV clear the infection in about 2 years. The median time to clearance of genital warts after treatment is about 6 months. There is also evidence linking HPV infections with oral squamous cell carcinoma of the mouth, basically cancers of the mouth. So HPV cannot be cultured, and the only way to be tested and detected is through PCR or polymerase chain reaction testings. Not when they do PCRs, they don't run it for all the individual species of the HPV, but only for the ones that are dangerous that could cause high-risk HPV types. Treatments, there is no cure, but there are some treatments for skin lesions. There are some prescribed topical anti-tumor medications that are used, and for mucosal and intraepithelial lesions, there are surgical procedures which removes the suspected tissue for the intraepithelial lesions through corneal biopsy, freezing, or a procedure called LEEP or loop electrosurgical excision procedure, which uses a wire loop that is heated by electricity to remove the suspected tissue of malignancy. Preventions, there are two kind of vaccines that FDA has approved for prevention. One is quadrivalent, one is bivalent. The quadrivalent is called Gardasil, and the bivalent HPV vaccine is called Cervarix. The peer-reviewed journal article I chose asked the questions that if the vaccinations could be used as kind of treatments in cervical cancers. I chose this article because this article, the researchers come from the city that I was born, city of Yazd, this small city in Iran, and it was interesting to me, so I chose to represent it. So they asked the question if the vaccine could be used as a therapeutic method. And what they did is they did a randomized controlled trial, which one group did get the vaccine and the other group didn't get the vaccine, and they were followed up for 24 months. And the end of the results, at the end of 24 months, they saw that it's statistically significant difference that the vaccine could be used as a, not only preventive but also a therapeutic measures in women. Is a table that shows their final presentations, and the conclusion was the prophylactic quadrivalent HPV vaccine after the treatment could have therapeutic effect in women with residual or high grade cancers. And here are my references.